My name is Richard Paterson. I'm the Master Blender, Master Distiller for Whyte and Mackay. And I'm going to be talking today about whiskey, but in particular Scotch whiskey, because it encompasses many facets. In order to make a Scotch whiskey, it obviously has to be produced in Scotland. When we're talking about whiskey production, obviously you need the cereals. Now, when we're talking about Scotch, we're talking about barley. But there are other countries that take in wheat and maize, and they're produced by different methods, either the pot still method of distillation or the patent still. But what we must do is take that barley and we must let it germinate, which produces the natural starch, and then we obviously boil it up in the mash tun, we cool it down, and then take the sugars that have been produced there, and we add yeast. The yeast attacks the sugar and converts it into alcohol during the fermentation process. Now that fermentation process normally takes around about 48 hours. And after it subsides, we've got a liquid known as wash, and now we have to distill it. What you need to do is then take this lovely vessel known as the pot still. This helps separates it. So we boil it up. The first distillation is not the true distillation. So what we're looking for is the second distillation. When it comes through the second time, we can see that the spirit is running. And that will be coming off the still around about 70% alcohol, then reduced down to about 63%. And from there, it's then transferred into this wonderful vessel known as the cask, which will give at least 70% influence to the actual Scotch whiskey. When we're talking about Scotch whiskey, it has to be in this cask for not less than 3 years. And it then is influenced. We talk about American white oak, or we maybe talk about European oak or sherry cask to influence that whiskey. So it's during that cycle that we create its character, but it is the cask. The cask truly is king. Blending, it still contributes 90% of the whiskey industry. And when we're talking about blended whiskey, that is a mixture of malt whiskey and a mixture of grain whiskey. As soon as you mention grain whiskey with the malts, it becomes a blended whiskey. My job as master blender is to produce a style, but it must maintain the consistency. So important. There are 4 distilling regions: the Lowlands, the Highlands, the Campbeltons, and the Isles. So amalgamating these all together with the grain whiskies will produce the blended whiskey. This is the Copa Capita glass. This has been the glass that my father, my grandfather used. So what you must do is never hold the glass like this. You must never warm it. And the worst thing is never nose it like this. But what you must do is hold it at the bottom. You swirl it round, you bring it up and you say, hello. Then you pull back and say, how are you? And then you pull back and say, quite well, thank you very much. But what you're doing is seeing the whiskey for the first time. When you swirl it around and say hello, the alcohol hits your nose first. But you must forget the alcohol and you must go into the heart of the whiskey. There'll be top notes, there'll be middle notes, there'll be downdrift coming through towards the end. That's why you must give it time. And then you go into it and it will start to open up very slowly. When it comes to the tasting, it's holding it in the mouth. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello there. It starts to open up in the proper manner. You've given it lots of time in the mouth, and you're seeing what Scotch whiskey is all about. There are many ways to enjoy Scotch whiskey. I like to serve it neat. When it goes beyond 49% alcohol, I usually take a little still water. That helps to make it more easable to come into the palate. So as we say in Scotland, slangy va, love makes the world go round. That's not true. Whiskey makes it go round, but twice as fast. So if you're interested in learning more about whiskey or other spirits, why don't you get in touch with the WSET at wsetglobal.com. Best of luck.